Blue Girls, what is your purpose?
Mi propósito es tener una relación con Dios.
So friends, we are here at Buruburu KAG East Assembly, and as you can see, we are having here over 100 boys and girls assembling under our courtesy of Hoops for Hope. And we've been having a great time of impartation, teachings, skills, and so as you can see, the young people are really blessed and excited about the teachings and also the basketball that they are getting. So we want to really bless the Lord for the Hoops for Hope for coming all the way from Dallas, Texas to be a blessing to the people and especially the young people of Kenya. We believe through the gospel there is hope in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Welcome back to the show. I am so delighted to introduce you to Mark Wible, who I've been knowing for a long time.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute. But Mark Wible is the driving force behind something called Hoops for Hope. And I've been wanting to have you come on the show and talk about Hoops for Hope and what it's been doing all these many years, because you started this
2004.
Yeah, a while back.
Yeah.
You have a passion for basketball, also a passion for ministry, of sharing the gospel with people. So, welcome.
Well, thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to be here. It's quite an honor. First time I'm doing this, Ann, so I appreciate you having me on.
I love my first timers. I just think this is great. Well, of course, you're tall. You played basketball, right?
I did. Played in college and had a chance to play overseas, and came to Baylor and coached for a year at Baylor. And once I got to Waco, I said, I'm not leaving. Met my wife here, and so we've been here for 45 years.
Yeah. And of course, you've been on staff at Highland Baptist Church. Of course, that's our longtime association was there. You've just recently retired, is that right?
I am retiring. Yes, September 15th.
Okay, so a few days.
Got 3 weeks.
Short timer.
Yeah.
You've got the short timer's disease. But what you have done for all these many years in conjunction with your work there, your vocational calling there at Highland, is something to reach out to kids through basketball.
Yeah. I was a basketball coach by trade. I had 49 hours of undergraduate PE, master's degree in PE. I was just going to coach all my life, and the Lord had other plans. But once you get coaching into you, you never get coaching out of you. And so for me, of course, I coached at the old Richfield High School. If anybody remembers Richfield High School, closed down Richfield High School, and that was the year I got into the pastorate and over at Highland. But you never get coaching out of you, and so I coached at private schools and things like that. But as a church in 2004, we were re-envisioning how we did missions. What would be a creative way to do missions? Most mission trips are, you do medical, street evangelism, construction, or something along those lines.
Yeah, I have activities for children. I mean, all those
VBS
kinds of
type things.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, you don't want me with a hammer. You don't want me with a scalpel. You don't want me street evangelizing. And I'm not real cool on VBS type things, crafts, and that's just not me. And so as a church, we were trying to envision what can we do that's a little different. And so we went on a fact-finding trip to North Africa with the International Mission Board, and there were 5 couples that were serving as a team there. And the first one, they said, we need somebody to come do some construction. I was like, okay. And then another one said, we need some ladies to come drink tea and do an art show. And I'm like, well,
I could do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not me. That's you. And then we need somebody to come do a computer business seminar. And the last guy said, I need somebody to come do a basketball camp. And I was like, oh, okay. Ding. That I can do. Yeah. So I came home and put together a team, and we went back over to North Africa and put on this camp. And I came home and I regaled my wife Lori with stories. I said, oh man, it was just great. Being a good Baptist, I checked my missions box, and I thought, okay, that's it for another 2 or 3 years. I'll probably go back in another 2 or 3 years. And my wife said, well, that's great. You go halfway around the world to share the gospel. Why don't you go down the street to Dean Highland Elementary
really?
And do it right there? And I was like, oh, okay. So I went down to Dean Highland and I put on a camp there. And another school heard about it, and I went and did a camp over there. Another school heard about it, and I went and did a camp there. North Africa called back and said, would you come back? And I was like, okay, and went and did that. And then South Texas called. We had a missionary in South Texas, and so we went down there. And all of a sudden I found out we're kind of finding a niche, okay? And Thailand called. When Thailand called,
Wow.
it was like, okay, now this is really something. Maybe, Lord, are you trying to speak to me about this? And so we began to grow it. And under Pastor Barry Camp at the church said, we give you, the elders there said, we give you the authority to keep, we encourage you to keep growing this thing. So I started out with, one trip, I thought, every 3 years. Pretty soon we were doing 4 or 5 trips a year. Got to up to COVID. When COVID happened, we had 13 trips going out in one summer. But COVID hit, and we literally had a team in Ukraine when President Trump issued if you remember that, he issued the moratorium on travel, and so we had to shut it down and bring them home from Ukraine.
So you got to get them home. We
got them home. The deadline was Friday, and we had to get them back into the country. So that shut it down. So for a couple of years, we kind of floundered as far as our international type things. A lot of the world, and this is what people don't really understand, a lot of the world was way behind in the places that we were going. Africa, South America was way behind on catching up to protocols setting, and so though America was back, several months, a year into it, it took, there was one country that we went to that it was 3 years. We had gone to them the year before COVID happened. We were supposed to go back, and it took them 3 years to get over to where they could host a team again through all the regulations and things like that. So, we've seen, this year in 2025, we've sent out 14 teams. So I was doing a year in review about 11 years ago. And the Lord, Acts 1:8 is one of my driving scriptures. It says, you'll be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the uttermost parts of the earth. And the Lord was saying, he asked me, he said, how are you doing? I said, man, I got the uttermost parts of the earth covered. I'm doing that. And we've been to California, we've been to Florida, we've been to Massachusetts, we've been, all these different places. So I've got Jerusalem. We've got Judea and Samaria. And he said, well, what about Jerusalem? What about your Jerusalem? What about Waco? And I was like, well, I do the one camp, and he said, no, I want you to do something more. So 11 years ago, we started with a Wednesday night program with 8 kids and 4 coaches. 11 years ago, ran a little pilot program from the kids from the Dean Highland neighborhood. And we found that it worked, and we're getting ready to kick off September the 17th. Last year, we had 113 kids and 46 coaches signed up. And so we were able to bring them in. We do an hour of basketball. We do 30 minutes of curriculum development, studying. It's for 3rd through 7th grade. And we reach out and we do age-graded curriculum, and we do that. And so we average about 85 kids and on a Wednesday night, and then the big thing is that we get a lot of students from Baylor that come in and help us. We've got about 30 to 35 Baylor students will come in and help us. So yeah, it's a great thing. So we've kind of got it covered. We do that it's a 18-week program, 18 session program, Wednesday nights from 5 to 6:30, and that's kind of how we've grown the thing.
So the curriculum, what is involved in the curriculum?
Well, it was really funny. I've written 5 curriculum books.
Have you really?
Yeah, and I learned early on that you had to write it on a very basic level because a lot of the kids that we're bringing in have no church background. I learned that you couldn't use big fancy words, lots of theological words. You had to really bring it to a really base level. So the first book is for 3rd graders, and it's establishing that they have a purpose, they have a plan, they have a part to play, they have a place for them in society, and they have a power. And so we go through these things saying, look, you're here for a reason. You're not a mistake, and our coaches are guided to really instill in them the value and worth that God places on us. And so we go through that. We study some of the different character traits of who God is. And we graduate up to the second year. We have an age-graded book that talks about God said, therefore I do, and we walk through the Bible. So we walk all the way through till the seventh grade. They study the book of Philippians. They don't know they're studying the book of Philippians, but we're teaching them how do you start in a book and how do you walk all the way through the book. So we're trying to train them all the way through. And then the goal is to get kids that come all the way through the program and then plug back into the program as junior coaches. And so if they will come all the way back through the program and then they graduate, they come in the 8th grade and work as junior coaches, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. If they do that, then we have a little scholarship program that we will afford them $1,000 to go to a college of their choice. If they will go to a college, we'll give them $1,000 out of our operating budget just to say, hey, you've been faithful. So we want to make disciples who then in turn make disciples.
Yeah, well, it's brilliant, and what I'm seeing is that mentorship that you're providing for these young boys. I presume is it boys and girls?
Yeah, it's boys and girls. And when we first started, it was about 75 to 80% boys and about 20% girls. In the last 3 years, it's 50-50. I got 50% boys and 50% girls. Yeah.
So you do everything co-ed.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we will. On the court, we don't play games.
I wondered if you had compete or any of that.
No. So what we do is it's just skills. It's all fundamental skills. And then we will do some we'll do some shooting competitions or some dribbling relays
game
type
type
thing, but not a 5-on-5, 4-on-4 or anything like that. But so that we will have like the 3rd grade girls will be one team, 3rd grade boys will be another team, and so we divide it by gender. But the last 3 years we've had 50% girls, 50% boys. It's been really amazing. It really is.
That's amazing. And so, have you spotted some pretty significant talent out there?
Not yet. The number one question that we get asked when they come in, number one question we get asked is, "What's for dinner tonight, Coach?"
So you do provide a supper for
we
them.
provide a little. It's not a big thing, but it's something for them to go home with, so that they're not hungry going home.
Right.
And so there's, we've early on there were some kids that ended up going. I had one kid that ended up going and playing in college that came through the program early.
Really?
And then another kid that was scheduled to, and he ended up not making it all the way through his high school career without something that caused him to stop playing. But other than that, these are just kids. Honestly, these are kids that just need encouragement. Yeah. They just need somebody to put an arm around them and say, "You're all right. It's going to be okay." It's a blast to be able to coach these kids. They come in. Many of them have never played, never seen, basketball. So we're teaching them, this is how you dribble, this is how you shoot.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah. And our goal is to teach them that they are loved rather than teach them you got to be a great basketball player.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. Well, that's remarkable. I love what your website says: transforming skills, shaping character, and inspiring hope. Yeah. Across continents.
Yes.
You truly are a global mission. Did you have any idea this would come out?
And I had absolutely no idea. It blows me when a lot of times when I'm going to bed at night. We just had 2 teams that were on the field together. One of them in Kenya and one of them in Egypt. And the team in Egypt, they were working with Somali refugees. Okay. Now these kids, if you can imagine, they're 8, 10, 12, 14 years old, but they've just been in war. That's it. That's all they've known.
All they know.
And so the leader that took the team, Stephen Shannon Duran, took the team, and I was debriefing with them after the last night. We were talking by WhatsApp, and I said, "So what are you thinking?" They said, our host's wife said something that really impacted. I said, "What's that?" And they said, she said, the thing that you did was you brought play to kids who have never played before. Oh. And I thought about that. And I thought, all they've known is war. All they've known is run and hide. And now I'm in a refugee camp and, and work and toil. And for the first time, they experienced play. And it reminded me, we had also years ago, when we were first getting started, we went to Restoration Gateway in Uganda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there was a guy named, if you remember the history, there was a bad dude named Joseph Kone, who was ruling the northern part of Uganda. He would go into towns and he would into villages and round up people and kill the parents in front of the kids, and then take the kids, make the Lord's Resistance Army.
Right.
And we went there, and the kids that we were ministering to were kids that had escaped, had run away and made it out, and they were orphans. And so they were in an orphanage led by Tim and Janice McCall. Mm-hmm. And the very same thing when we left, I met with the girl that was in charge named Keely Burnell. And I said, what do you think? We had seen over 200 kids, and the closest ones walked 30 minutes one way to come to camp. The farthest ones walked 2 hours. 2 hours one way to come to a camp. And they had never seen a basketball before. 200 kids, 10 of them had shoes. The rest of them were all barefooted. And so when we were debriefing, kids have all left and gone back to their villages. I said, what do you think? And she said the exact same thing. She said, these kids have been so tormented that the play, you just brought them play. So, that's the thing, is we're not developing the next greatest Michael Jordans or LeBron Jameses, but we are developing the next, maybe doctors or teachers or whatever, people who have confidence to know that somebody believes in them.
Yeah. Well, you brought a couple of basketballs. We're going to take a quick break, though. And when we come back, I want you to explain
all right.
about these basketballs that you brought. Mark Wible, thank you. Stay with us. There's more of the show ahead.
I just got my Colgate Advanced LED Whitening Treatment in the mail, and I am very excited to have dramatically whiter teeth in just 10 days. My teeth are going to be 6 shades whiter. The treatment is enamel safe and hassle-free. It's even designed for my sensitive teeth. Let's open it up. Inside we have the blue light whitening device. It's a charger for after each treatment as well. There's a full 10-day supply, and it looks easy to apply. Order yours today at shop.colgate.com.
Hoops for Hope International is a nonprofit ministry that takes small teams of 6 to 10 people around the world to teach basketball skills to children paired with a message of hope. We are always looking for those who love the Lord, love children, love basketball, and are willing to go and serve around the world while fulfilling the command found in Acts 1:8 to be witnesses in the neighborhood and nations. Go to hoopsforhopeinternational.org to learn more. Hoops for Hope, teaching basketball skills with a message of hope.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on the screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. With our feature called Popple Direct, you can pop one of your links directly. I turn Direct on for Instagram. Now when I pop someone's phone, it opens directly to my Instagram. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
The 4-burner, side-burner, side-sear burner with Clearview glass stainless steel grill from Monument Grills. Made of tempered glass, which is strong, insulated, and allows you to check your grilling without lifting the lid. Our porcelain-coated cast iron cooking grids offer a large cooking surface of 513.3 square inches, primary cooking area, with even heat cooking. The Monument Grills include LED control knobs and are easy to light with pilotless electronic ignition. Better grilling, better value, Monument Grills.
Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for good and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." Amen, amen, amen. Woo!
This is the Sonos Arc Ultra, and this is what you need to know about. It represents one of the easiest ways to get into high quality home cinema without loads of cables and faffing around. And that's because the Arc Ultra provides full Dolby Atmos without any rear speakers thanks to its sound motion technology. And Sonos is actually calling sound motion one of the most significant breakthroughs in audio engineering in nearly 100 years. It's an amazing setup, it sounds absolutely fantastic, I love the absence of fat. If you're a Sonos person, there's a reason you're watching this video.
Waco's Walk to End Alzheimer's is happening next month, but tonight is the kickoff party at Lounge 93, starting at 5:30, going to 8 p.m. There will be door prizes and live music to celebrate the upcoming event, which you are still able to register for. A portion of the sales from tonight's event will be donated to the Waco Walk, so we hope to see you there. Waco Civic Theater's performance of the iconic story To Kill a Mockingbird premieres tomorrow, September 4th, with shows going through the 14th. There will be a benefit performance this Friday, September 5th, in which Waco is joining hands with Greater Waco Legal Services for an evening of theater that explores the impact of justice on stage. Finally, the Baylor Bears baseball team will be taking on a bigger stage in February of next year for the Round Rock Classic at the Dell Diamond. This will be the Bears' second appearance at the event, playing against Oregon State, Purdue, and Southern Miss. It will be their first appearance since 2021, so we are excited to see them as well. I'm Elizabeth Riley with your Act Locally Waco news, and I will see you next time.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Mark Wible, who is the founder of Hoops for Hope, which is a basketball ministry, really, that is bringing skills involved with this beloved game, but also bringing hope and encouragement to young people literally all over the world. You brought a couple of basketballs. You have a Hoops for Hope, an official basketball. Yeah. Tell me about this.
So this ball right here, one of our goals is, or one of our tenets is that every kid that comes to a camp will go home with a basketball.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of basketballs.
So yeah, we've spent over $150,000 on basketballs to give out. We give it for every camp we do is free. It's the free gift of God that He gave to us through His Son Jesus Christ. We want to also initiate by giving them a free gift. So these are the basketballs that we give out. So years ago, put that back there. Years ago, we went to Ghana and had a guy named Bruce Lisenby and his wife Nellie. They built a court over there, and they said, "Oh, that's a guy named Vincent Asamoah." I said, "Well, that's great that you'll build us a court, but you come back and do a camp." I said, "Yeah, we'll come back and do a camp." So we went back, we did a camp, and we gave basketballs like the first basketball that I showed
blue
you.
And white.
Yeah, pretty nice little nibs on it and everything like that. We went back 1 year later. They had started a basketball ministry and they were playing a league game, and we drove up. They were all excited. They said, "Oh, we've got a league game for you to come see." And I drove up and I looked, and this was the basketball that looked like this 1 year earlier.
That's a lot of basketball play with that ball.
There's not a nib on this thing. I mean, it is just
be.
as smooth. Yeah. And I looked at it. And I said, that's the power of play. I mean, they played with that so long. They played with that so long that it wore everything off. But that, they didn't know any different. I mean, here in the States, we'd look at that, we would have thrown it away. I literally stopped the game. I said, hold on, time out. And I had a ball that was blown up, and I walked out and I said, here, play with this. Let me have this ball. This is when it comes. So this sits in my office every day. I see it every day as a reminder of what we're doing. We are trying to, our moniker is we changing the world one bounce at a time. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to try to do, is we bring basketballs and we pray that they bounce them enough that the nibs wear off and we get to come back and give them another one.
Well, stories like yours are the ones I really love to highlight. Someone who sees a need, sees something that you can do, and that I believe as a Christian, the Lord puts these opportunities in our way, and you say yes, and then it becomes something you would never have dreamed in a million years. It would become a worldwide mission.
It is, again, I scratch my head and go, Lord, how in the world how are you doing this? But the thing I think that is the driving force for me is just the stories that we hear. I mean, we go and we impact kids. I think we went to several different places. We've been to several different places in Africa. We've been to 25 different countries on 5 different continents, and in each one we've been invited to come back. Where they said, "Would you come back? Would you be willing to come back and do this again?" We've started ministries. One of the guy I told you about, Vincent Asamoah, when he was in Truett Seminary, that's where we met in Waco. He was here and he was going to be a pastor. He wanted to go back to Africa and be a pastor, but he saw the power of sport in his kid's life through upwards basketball. And he decided, I'm going to go back to Africa and I'm going to start a basketball ministry. So that's how we got connected. Mm-hmm. I helped him start that. Vincent had not had any skill or training in basketball at all, and very little athletic growing up in Africa. But because of what he saw, the potential of sport and basketball in particular, he then got connected with FCA. And FCA saw the Fellowship for Christian Athletes, and he ended up becoming the president of FCA Africa.
Really? Yeah.
All from the fact that he and I talked about how do you start a basketball ministry, and so he was impacting the continent of Africa, and I think about that, and I think about kids. We were down in Guatemala. And we did a camp for the kids literally on the dump. They have kids who literally live adjacent to the dump. The place that we were doing the camp, there was a wall, and the ashes from the burning trash would come over the wall, and they would coat the court. That's how close we were to the dump. And we were ministering to these kids on the dump. Yeah. And as we were doing a debrief in our little huddles after the camp, one of the kids looked at his coach and said, before you came, I didn't think I could ever do anything. I didn't think I could do anything. But now you've taught me I can do anything. So, that's the empowerment. Another one, we were in Ukraine back before the war broke out. It was in 2014. Mm-hmm. We had some Baylor basketball managers who were with us on the trip. And one of the things that we talk about is I have a plan. There's a plan for my life. And so we do these camps, and so we do 2.5 hours of basketball, and then we do 30 minutes of character development. And so we break up into small the huddle groups, and they talk. So one of the managers was sitting with his team, and the manager's 20 years old. He's sitting with 18 years old kids, and he said, "Well, here's my plan for what I plan on doing. What about your plans?" And that night when we were debriefing, the guy looked at me with his eyes wide open. He said, "Coach," he said, "let me tell you, those guys looked at us and said, we really don't know. You have a 5-year plan?" He said, "We're graduating from high school in 2 weeks. We don't know if we'll be alive in 2 months, because when we graduate from high school, we get sent to the Eastern Front in our military service." Oh. And so it became very real to my Baylor bubble guy that life is so much bigger, and there are so many more things that are going on. And it really changed the way he looked at things. And it puts it in so much perspective that there is so much going on in the world that we are called to make a difference. There was a little girl here in our community, who she was in our Wednesday night program, and one day she came in crying and like, what's going on? And she said, well, so and so's these boys are over laughing at me, and I was like, what's going on? And I said, let's go out here and talk. And she unveiled to me that day she had been walking home from school, and she had been molested.
Oh no!
And I said, now as soon as you tell me this, I said, I'm going to have to report this. She said, oh, don't worry. I told my daddy the police have already come.
Okay.
And I said, oh, okay. And she said, my daddy said, sweetie, you don't have to go to Hoops Huddle tonight. You've been through some trauma. And she said, no, I have to go to Hoops Huddle, because those people there love me.
Oh.
So here's a girl that's gone through the worst thing
Horrible.
as a fourth grader that could happen as a fourth grader. And 1 hour later, she's going, no, I've got to go to a place where I know that I'm loved, that people will love me. And so, to me, those are the stories in our neighborhood and in the neighborhoods of the nations that drive and motivate me. That it's like, man, if they're hurting, we need to go and we need to give them hope. So
you are about to retire from your daytime gig.
Yes.
at Highland Baptist Church, but you are going full bore into Hoops for Hope. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I'm retiring September 15th. I'm going to have a day of retirement on September 16th. And then on September 17th, I'm coming out of retirement and I'm going to work for Hoops for Hope. On September 16th, I think Lori and I are going to fly to Rome and Paris and not get off the plane, but just say we've been there. We could go in our retirement. We visited Rome, Greece, all those places, and then come back. But I am going to go, and it's going to be the things that the lessons the Lord has taught me through being on staff 40 years at Highland, and the leadership lessons that I've learned, the different things that I've learned, the methods and techniques that I've learned. I'm gonna then in turn be able now to set Hoops for Hope up for what I hope is a long-term run way after I'm gone. The Lord showed me that He equipped Moses for a certain amount of time to lead the children of Israel, and then it was Joshua's turn, and I was like, Lord, okay, but Moses went up on the mountain and died after he turned it over to Joshua. I'm not getting ready to go up on the mountain.
No,
I'm not going any mountain climbing.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I just want you to take what you've learned and get hoops established. So I'm going to be going there, and we're going to get all of our processes written up, and everything, and get things so that people can be ready to change the world one bounce at a time.
Well, and continue to expand. I can see that. So how many teams? You say you send out teams. So what's involved in a team?
So a team is about ideal team is about 7. We try to keep it small. People say, well, do I have to be really skilled in coaching basketball? I think my greatest success story in that, we had a 59-year-old administrative assistant at church, had never been involved in sports, but she kept hearing about Hoops for Hope and Hoops Huddle. And at that point, it was pre-COVID. At that point, we were literally serving a sit-down meal at the end of the evening. Mm-hmm. And so she said, let me just come and start watching, and I'll help serve the meal. And she kept watching. And so she kept watching. She said, I could do this. So she'd never done basketball, never done anything. She said, I want to go on a Hoops for Hope trip. So we have one station that we do called the agility ladders. I don't know if you've seen those things, but they're ladders that you set on the ground, and a lot of soccer players use them and things like that. Yeah. So it's great for footwork. So I said, okay, if you can learn how to teach somebody to run through an agility ladder.
Pattern,
And she went home, she put tape on her linoleum floor in her kitchen and taught herself all the drills, taught how to do it.
Quite a few things you can do with that.
And went to Africa, to Ghana on 2 different occasions, led several girls to Christ, and came home, resigned from the church, and went to school and became a minister. and so, that's the deal is that, so we have, we take teams of 7, 8, I don't like getting above 10. But so there'll be a lead coach who is kind of the general manager and runs everything.
Right.
And then there are we have six. Most places you can have six teams on a court at a time, doing several 6 teams of 8 to 10 people.
Yeah, that's quite a few people then on one basketball court.
Yeah, so we have between 50 to 55, 60 kids on a court at a time, and the way we've got it structured, everything kind of rotates through. So we'll do that. The schedule is. We put a ball in every kid's hand, so mass ball handling. Then they break up and rotate through 6 stations. Then we go through competitions. All of that takes about 2.5 hours. And then we sit down the last 30 minutes and we talk to them about, I have a purpose, I have a plan, I have a place, I have a part, and I have a power.
I guess you've seen in their little faces light bulbs go
off.
I'm
telling you, you see it. You see, I think the most encouraging one is day 3 when we say I have a part. When we look at them and say, yeah, you may be 8 years old, you may be 10 years old, you may be 13 years old, but you're important today. You're not important once you get married and once you get a job, or there is a part for you to play right now. And we literally call kids to start playing their part in their schools, in their communities, in their families. And we say, we are lifting up that expectation for you to be able to do that. And it's some of the time it's the first time anybody's really ever believed in them, you know? And I think the second thing that happens, we were in Ecuador, and we were on the bus debriefing on our way back to the hotel the last day, and the pastor's wife got up to share the impact that we had made. And she said, you have revolutionized the way we think of evangelism as a pastor and wife. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, we've always looked at it as, you do it inside the walls of the church. But she said, we see the power of reaching kids where they are, and the kids are the hope for the future. And so we have to get out and reach them where they are. And this is a mechanism to be able to do that, vehicle to be able to do that. And so those are the things. So, the coaches that go get changed, the kids that receive us get changed, and the people who are hosting us get changed. So, yeah.
Oh, it is just so wonderful to hear about this. Another thing, we haven't talked about it yet, but your connection to the Baylor men's basketball team.
Yes.
Because after the game, there's Mark.
Yeah.
in the middle of the huddle as they're praying at the end of the game. Are you still doing that?
Oh, as long as Coach will have me, I'm still doing it.
Well, of course, Scott Drew, we could do a whole show on what a wonderful man he is.
Unbelievable man. Yeah. So, little funny story about that. The summer before Scott got here, Baylor was going through a tough time in their basketball program where they had a little an incident that went on.
I well remember that, reporting on that.
And there was a guy who was the interim university chaplain, a guy named Byron Weathersby was the interim university chaplain. And he said, hey, if I get the chaplain's job, my goal is to put a sports chaplain, a volunteer sports chaplain with every sport. If I get it, he said, would you consider being basketball? Well, we didn't know anything that was going on, at the time. I was like, okay. Yeah. So I was like, sure, I'd love to do that. Well, then the whole thing breaks and the former coach is gone, and so I'm sitting in my house one day and the phone rings, and Byron goes, hey, I don't know if I'm going to get get the chaplain's job or not, the university chaplain's job or not, but if you'll turn on the TV, they're hiring this guy named Scott Drew. And he said, he won't know any different. Just go in and introduce yourself as the chaplain and see what happens. So literally, the next day, I showed up and walked in, knocked on the door, and I said, hey, Coach Drew, I'm Mark Wible. I'm the chaplain of Baylor men's basketball. And in typical Scott Drew fashion, he goes, great, come on in. Here, listen, I want a weekly Bible study with the players. I want a weekly Bible study with the coaches. I want a weekly Bible study with the coach's wife. You'll go to games with us. You'll be in come down to the apartment. You'll be at all the practices. And I went, whoa, Scott, I have a full-time job. He goes, oh. Well, what can you give me? I said, I'll give you what I can.
Yeah.
I'll give you what I can. But I said, and so he said, yeah. So that's how I got to be chaplain. Yeah, that's how I got to be chaplain. And I've been with him ever since. Man, it has been such a pleasure, such an incredible ride to see from the depths that we were to where we are now.
Well, it's the stuff of legend, really. What has happened, and I think you would say, as a believer, I mean, God's hand has been in this program. So, just your thoughts about this upcoming season. How are things shaping up for the men?
First of all, just let me say that Scott Drew is the same man behind closed doors as he is in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
And he is on the court. He genuinely cares for those players. Mm-hmm. He genuinely cares for his staff. He genuinely cares for the GAs and the managers. I was in the room when we were going through a tough stretch several years back, and we'd lost several in a row. I was in the room to hear him say, I don't know if we'll win another game, but if we can influence these men to come to faith in Christ, we will have accomplished. I was in the room, so I know that to be true. So that's the character of this man. I think that this year is going to be an incredible coaching opportunity for Scott and all of the coaches. I don't think people understand, you go out and you say, well, we're going to pay this money, or we're going to get this number star athlete or whatever.
Oh, I know. The whole dynamics are so different now.
Just because you pay money or they have a star behind them does not necessarily mean that they're going to mesh together.
Right.
Now,
it's still a team sport.
It is a team sport. And when you're getting guys that are coming in from multiple different philosophies and streams and ideas, and you have got a very short amount of time to meld those things together. I will say that I think that the team has the ability. Now, they've got to avoid injuries. I mean, injuries.
That's always going to be the case. Yeah.
Injuries really got us last year.
Yeah.
But I think that this can be a sneaky team that can. I don't think that a lot of people are looking out there going, "Oh, this is going to be one of his best teams," just simply from the fact that they are 15 new players. I mean, it's not 1 minute, not 1 point, not 1 rebound has been had by anybody on this team for Baylor University.
Wow.
And I don't think anybody really understands the breadth of what the magnitude of that is, just trying to get them all on the same page. So I've been down watching some of the practices and was able to see some of the games overseas when they were representing the USA this summer. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you that there is a work ethic. There is a willingness to be taught and to be coached. And I think that as a former coach, that's the starting point. Is you got to have kids that are willing to be coached and want to learn. As long as they can remain unified in that, I think that the team of coaches that Scott has is just an incredible, top-notch set of coaches. And I'm encouraged at what can be. Again, injuries and seeing how they mesh together as a team. I think that this summer trip really did a lot for that. I just in talking with the guys. Now, they were without five of their guys because they were international players and they couldn't go represent the United States. So those guys didn't get a chance to mesh together. But in talking with the fellows that did go, they just referred to what a great team bonding that it was.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh, well, it's going to be an exciting year as always. Back to Hoops for Hope. Though you have a fundraiser coming up. Tell me about that. That's in
it is
October.
On Monday, October the 6th, and Matt Saman is going to be our guest speaker.
I remember him.
Matt was on Scott Drew's first team, and I've known Matt since then. I was the chaplain, and I got to know Matt, and that first year was quite a challenge. And he wrote a book called The Leftovers that chronicled that year. It's a great book.
Yeah.
And so Matt is going to be our guest speaker. We'll be highlighting some of the successes we've had this past year in travel. We've sent out, like I said, 13 teams this year, and we'll have some video, some testimonies and some video clips of some of the things that have been done. It's going to be a great event. It starts at 6:00 on Monday night, October the 6th, and we will have you out by 8 p.m.
Where will it be?
It is at Highland Baptist Church.
Okay, and so how can folks get tickets?
You can go
Or
to
buy a table, or how do you do it?
You can go to www.hoopsforhopeinternational.org. That's a mouthful. Hoopsforhopeinternational.org, and it's right on the lead page. They can look at that, and it'll say interested in the banquet. They can click on that, and sponsorships are available if you can't come, but you want to sponsor a table. You can do that. Tickets are there, tables are there, and sponsorships.
Oh, well, I'm just in awe of all that you've done, Mark, the way you have brought your passion for the Lord to a sport that you have a great passion for as well, and brought them together. And what's happening through Hoops for Hope is just so inspiring to me.
And you are the city legend. I'm telling you.
I don't know about that.
You are great, and what you are doing is giving voices to people like me that, our voice is limited, but you, with what you're doing, is you're giving a voice to that, and so I say thank you.
Well, I'm just so happy we can shine the light on what's happening with Hoops for Hope. Just such a powerful vehicle for changing lives. I mean, there are a lot of wonderful agencies that do a lot of wonderful things, but when you're involved with something that is changing lives, that's
that's
big.
Our thought is, if you can give a kid a chance to improve at something that they want to improve at, you earn the right to speak to them about things that you want to speak to them about. And that's what we do. Give them a ball. We're going to teach you this. Now we want to talk to you about greater things.
Well, that's great. And I appreciate your time so much, Mark. Thank you.
Ann. Bless you.
Well, stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
Revive Superfood Smoothies. Pill, pour, blend, and enjoy. All within the comfort of my own home.
Revive Superfood Smoothies. Peel, blend, and enjoy. Fast and easy, and I'm out the door.
If I've learned anything in the last year, it's that to show up as my best, I need to make intentional choices. And that goes back to the absolute basics. Number one, it's I have to move. And number two, to stay hydrated.
I have been using molecular hydrogen from Water and Wellness to support my health and well-being. It helps with energy, recovery, liver health, and more. The hydrogen has been a game-changing addition to my own wellness routine. The tablets dissolve into my water and deliver powerful minerals to help my body feel its best all day long.
Escape into fitness with the Schwinn IC4 bike, providing a premium, heart-pumping indoor cycling experience that combines digital connectivity with superior Schwinn quality. The IC4's smooth, quiet ride features magnetic resistance with 100 micro-adjustable resistance levels. Escape the everyday with the Schwinn IC4 bike, your ticket to a life well lived.
Deer Valley, where innovative comfort and stylish design meet. Bathroom solutions. Smart toilets. Kitchen solutions. Deer Valley. Stylish living, savvy savings.
Tailgate of a Silverado, Daddy bailed when I was 5. Guess he couldn't face the bottle. Grew up learning how to fight, not how to pray. So I cut my teeth on heartbreaking hard life games. Sell my peace of mind just to pay the rent. Got a cross necklace hanging with a rear view lamp. Keep a 38 in the dresser drawer. World's got teeth and it's hungry for more. I'm a wildflower in a lane gone dry. 2-lane ghost in a 4-lane light. I'm a red dirt sinner in a Sunday dress, singing hallelujah with a cigarette, a little half say in that town, still standing when the sun goes down. There's a kid on the corner with a cardboard sign and a preacher on the radio calling it crime. We medicate pain like it's some damn flu, but the pills don't fix what the world put you through. I know they whisper when I walk their way, say I talk too much and I don't act my age. They don't know the war that I fight inside, trying not to crack with the plastic smile. I'm a wildflower in a land gone dry. 2-lane ghost in a 4-lane light. I'm a red dirt sinner in a Sunday dress, singing hallelujah with a cigarette, a little half say in that town, still standing when the sun goes down. Sometimes I scream at God, then beg for peace. Toss and turn through the static on my screen. Ain't the hero in nobody's dream. I'm still here and that means, oh, I'm a wildflower in a land gone dry. 2-lane ghost in a 4-lane light. I'm a red dirt sinner in a Sunday dress, singing hallelujah with a cigarette, a little half say in that town, still standing when the sun goes down.
Let's unbox the all-new Walking Pad X21. It is the hottest thing on the fitness market right now. Whew, I like it. I like it a lot. Well done, Walking Pad. So after using the Walking Pad, I absolutely loved it. For the price, I adore it. I highly recommend it.
Hi, my name's Erica and today I'm going to be taking you through my skincare routine using the Tasmanian Spring Water range from Sand and Sky. This range is really good for dry and dehydrated skin like myself. It's packed with 2 types of hyaluronic acid and fermented sea kelp to reduce redness and irritation, which I experience daily. So that's it. It's so quick and so easy, and my skin feels so dewy and so hydrated.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey, past, present, and future. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence, elevate creativity, and honor what matters most. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.